We've all been there before. You have a fresh loaded cooler and you are on your way to have an amazing weekend. As soon as you show up where you're going, you pop this thing open to grab yourself a fresh bush latte, only to find swamp water. Your sandwiches are soggy, the kids are crying, your wife is pissed, and your trip is ruined before it even started. That is at least my experience with these absolutely terrible coolers, and that is why I personally upgraded to a 12-volt cooler instead of that classic $10 cooler that everybody seems to own and nobody knows exactly where they got it from. Now, 12-volt fridges and powered coolers have been on the market for a long time. They're nothing new, but we think we may have found the perfect day tripper, probably the coolest powered cooler on the market right now. Today we're taking a look at the Anker EverFrost. So this is the Anker EverFrost 50. This is a dual zone 53 liter powered cooler. This is the biggest of the three that they have. They also have a 40 and a 30. This thing has its own battery. You can charge it via solar, and there's a ton of useful applications for a unit like this. If you guys want to check this thing out or check out any of the other variations that Anker sells on their website, there is some links in the description down below. Anker did not pay us to make this video. And before we dive in to whether or not you should spend your hard-earned money on this unit or stick with your shitty $10 ice melting Coleman special, we're going to jump into a super quick 60-second teardown and cover all the specs on the Anker EverFrost in case you guys aren't familiar. Instantly, this thing passes the tiny baby lift test. It's actually surprisingly light. It only weighs about 60 pounds. And as we already mentioned, this is the bigger of the three, but no matter which one you choose, these things have a cooling range from 68 degrees Fahrenheit all the way down to -4. It has a really cool little suitcase handle that folds up and also doubles as a prep tray or a cutting board or something like that right here on the front. Each one has a little bottle opener built right into the front there, which kind of gives you a hint at who this is geared towards: the drunks. And out back, we have a 299 watt-hour battery, which actually doubles as a portable power station because it's completely removable. There's 2 USB-A's and 1 USB-C port, all of which have the IQ3 technology, and there's even a solar charging port on this guy. So while this is running, you can have it outside, and it has a 100-watt solar input, which means you can charge this thing from 0 to full in just 3 hours with a 100-watt solar panel. Like always, Anker has a killer app. This one doesn't have too many features. It's a pretty simple unit. And we also have just a really nice and really simple screen right here on the back. And the price tag on this thing is actually a really good deal when you start to look around and compare it to everything else on the market. So jumping right into it, some of our favorite features and things that we just really like about this Anker EverFrost unit is that it cools really quickly. You can get this thing from 77 degrees down to freezing in 30 minutes. You can plug this in the last minute and still have it cool enough for you to head out the door. And just like everything that Anker does, if you guys have watched any of our videos in the past, there's always just the little thoughts and the attention to detail in the R&D of a unit that comes from Anker that we love to see. Starting with the fact that this little suitcase handle on the front is not just a suitcase handle. They actually put some time and effort into this thing and doubled it up as a little prep tray or whatever, the iPad thing for your kid, so he shuts up and stops bothering you while you're cooking. Whatever you want to do with this, you can. On camera, it does look a little flimsy. It's just plastic. That was one of the things that I was really worried about watching other people's videos, but it actually turns out to be a really solid, like it feels really good. And then once you're done with it, you can fold it down and it actually clicks into place. Going hand in hand with the handle, this is one of the first or only fridges that I know of that even has the wheels. So this thing, you can pull it out of the back of your truck and just wheel it around. You can wheel it down to the beach, you can wheel it onto your boat. And when it comes to the inside, both zones, if you have a single zone, just the one zone, have lights in here. So when you open this thing up at night, you can actually see what it is you're reaching in there and fishing around for. And in case while you were in there messing around, you forgot to close the lid, another little attention to detail thing that we love is there's an alarm to let you know, hey, you're cooling the environment instead of your meat. The Anker app is also just super nice that they incorporated the fridge into their ecosystem because you can actually go on your phone, you can set and control the temperatures. The last two things that I just really like about this is it has this kind of like scaly grandma skin look to it that like all coolers have for some reason. Skin? Yeah, your grandma's, I don't know, picture your grandma's toes after she's in the hot tub. Like your shitty $10 cooler has the same thing. And so when I saw this at first, I thought it just looks cheap. But something that I really like is that this is cheap. Like you could flex this. This is not a good cooler. I don't know why we keep bringing it out. It sucks. And this looks just like it, but something good to know is that it is super solid. Like it's solid. It's definitely going to be able to take the abuse, which is nice, especially considering it has wheels. And probably the best thing that makes the EverFrost The EverFrost is how you can power it, which is actually quite a few different ways, starting with the battery that you can see right here through this little grill. Charge your phone, you can charge your laptop, you can do whatever you want straight from here. You don't have to remove this to access the battery at all. There's also a little input port down here, so you can charge this like you would traditionally charge or run a 12-volt fridge. But when it comes to battery, super easy to access, and my favorite part is that it comes out, which means you can actually buy multiples of these if that's something that you need. Like all Anker products, they take advantage of all the technology that they've been patenting over the years. So this one has the IQ ports, which is awesome. It means it's gonna use less of the battery's juice when it's putting power into your phone. It's just gonna charge your phone more efficiently. And probably the best feature of all is that this has a solar input. And since we're on the topic of the battery, this is actually one of the first things that we're gonna talk about here in the section where we talk about things that we just don't like. And while the battery is great, and for all the things I just talked about, it's a huge pro, I wish that these grew with the fridges. So this same 299 watt hour battery comes in the EverFrost 50, 40, and 30, runs this unit for about 27 hours. It runs the EverFrost 40 for, I believe, about 36 hours, and then it runs the EverFrost 30 for about 2 whole days. It just kind of sucks that as you spend more and more money working your way up the lineup, you actually get less and less runtime off of this battery. Now, spinning the wheel back around, a unit like this actually left us with a couple questions. I personally own a 12-volt fridge, not a powered one. And so what I really wanted to know was, one, how efficient is this? Because they don't really tell you about the rating. They just expect you to plug the battery in and use it. And the second thing was, can you run this thing without the battery? And so we got you guys some answers. First off, this thing draws about 55 watts. When you're charging the battery wants about 100, but just the unit, no battery, takes about 55 watts. Obviously a fridge doesn't run all the time, so you got to do the math. If it's running 35% of the time, that's not terrible. It's actually pretty efficient for the size of it. And my favorite part was, yes, you can run it without the battery, which is really nice. If you're going for a trip and you just don't need it to be run on battery, you can still have the battery plugged in, but you could just plug this thing into the back of your car and completely run it. But I think the biggest question that I had with this unit and its scaly exterior is that it calls itself a cooler. It's a powered cooler. It's not a 12-volt fridge, it's a cooler. And so I really wanted to know, how good of a cooler is it? We actually did a little experiment. We threw a bag of ice into both the shitty Coleman cooler and the Anker EverFrost. Both of them were just sitting here at room temperature. And when we came back the next morning, after only 17 hours, the shitty $10 cooler, it didn't do a very good job of keeping it cool. It was mainly just water in the bottom of there. It was really disappointing, to be honest. And surprisingly, the Anker EverFrost was still in really good shape. And so we left it, and after a full 24 hours, it was still doing really good. So it's good to know that it's actually a cooler and it works really, really well, like you would hope it does for the price of this thing. And since we brought up price, this thing right now retails for $949, which actually makes it the best bang for your buck when you're buying one of the EverFrost coolers. This one's $949, the EverFrost 40 is $849, and the EverFrost 30 is $799. This one is by far the best bang for your buck, but also the other ones are still kind of worth it because you're getting a lot more runtime for what you're paying. Regardless, this is priced at what a lot of other just 12-volt fridges are priced at. We can take a look at my personal Iceco VL45, which is a 45-liter fridge. It's a single zone, and this thing's about $700. Now, the first thing to notice is that this is a 45-liter fridge, and this is a 53-liter fridge, but this thing is a lot more than 10 liters bigger. And when you get into the Iceco dual zone 55-liter or 50-liter, whatever it is, fridge, it's actually almost the exact same price as this thing is right here. Imagining that this is the bigger dual zone version, they're built for different people. They're a different build, more durable. It's got replaceable corner pieces. It's got a metal exterior. You can buy slides directly from Iceco, so you can like bolt the slide into the back of your car, slide it in, slide it out. That's what I did. You strap it down, you're good to go. This is more of like an overlanding or RVing or van life or something. Whereas this thing, we're seeing it more as the day tripper. It's got the wheels. It's meant to be pulled out of your truck or your car, put on the ground, and dragged to wherever you're hanging out on the beach for the day. You could even take it camping and do the same thing you would do basically with this. there's really no limits when it comes to this unit. Personally, I would actually still go with something like this just because it's a little bit more compact, it's a little bit more efficient, and it's just a little bit more rugged. The tiny baby, on the other hand, actually loves this. He doesn't understand why I would still choose this one. This would fit his lifestyle. He's more of a day trip guy. And then on the odd occasion where he wants to go camping for a week or a weekend, he could plug it in and use it the whole time. But regardless, we're gonna leave some links for you guys to check out in the description down below if you wanna look at this and the other sizes. So at the end of the day, this thing is a mega upgrade from your shitty $10 Coleman cooler. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel so you do not miss any new content. Otherwise, that is all I got for you guys. I will catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Peace out and stay charged.